Hey guys, back with another video. This one's a little bit different. I'm going to play around with this farmertec g388. I've had this one a while. It's not had a lot of use, but when it's being used, I've probably put 2 or 3 tanks at a time through it, so it's been run for long periods. As you can see, it's pretty clean. I mean, so it's not that old, but I've cooked it. So we'll have a look at the cylinder and have a bit of a talk. Alright, here's the new cylinder. These are both farmertec saws, but the cylinders and the pistons are both different. So, I mean, this one's got a bit of a stamp, probably a brand mark, where this one's got absolutely nothing on there. So, I mean, inside looks alright, it's nice and smooth. The castings on the transfers are a bit rough, but I'm gonna clean them up just so it breathes a bit better, because this is overheated. So the exhaust manifold or face is quite a bit thicker. So what I'm going to do on that, this is a gasket. Now this gasket pretty much lines up with the exhaust perfectly, but if you stick him on here, you can see it doesn't really line up. So I'm just going to open up the top and the bottom, just so it flows a bit better. It'll open up that exhaust and it'll flow, and that's quite rough in there as well, so I'll clean that up just to smooth it off. Yeah, it's very rough. But also another difference I noticed, if I measure these, like the original one, measures 71 point, probably 71.4 we'll call that, and the new one 71.8. So that's about 0.4 difference. And if I measure the gasket that came out, you've got about 0.6 there. So also the pistons are different. The obvious ones, the windows are different sizes. The original one's got larger windows for better flow, I suppose, and the second one's got smaller windows. So I'm just going to open up those windows a little bit. Also, this brace across the front here, it's arched, and this one's straight, and it's a lot thicker, so it doesn't look like it needs to be that thick. I'll probably just clean that up a little bit as well. And it's got very sharp edges on it. I'm going to take them sharp edges off just by sanding them with a bit of sandpaper. But you'd think they'd be the same, but they must buy these from different manufacturers, you know, whoever's cheapest at the time maybe. Also with these, if you measure them, that's 39.6. Well, this one's 39.2. So this is a bit shorter, and it's actually shorter on the top side from the face to the gudgeon pin. Probably 15.9. And this one, it's 16.4. There's about 0.5 difference. And we're also 0.4 difference with these. So I'm going to have to check the squish on these. I don't like taking out the gasket and putting sealant. It's just harder to clean when I take it apart again. But we'll put it together, check the squish, and I might have to do away with the gasket. So I'm going to give this a bit of a clean up and I'll get back to you. Before I start, I'll show you what happened with this saw. Pretty good on the inlet side, the fuel in, and on the exhaust side, yeah, got very hot. Now, when I was running this, I thought it was the, you know, being a Chinese copy saw, I thought the carb might have been playing up. So I did adjust it a little bit, leaned it out a little bit, bit back and forward trying to get it, but it kept stopping. So it took a while for me to realise she was actually very hot. You could see the heat radiating off the cylinder. So, but as you know, if you watch some of my other videos, you'll notice I do run my saws quite rich. And it definitely wasn't straight gassed. I know a lot of people in the comments are going to be, oh, straight gassed, but nah, definitely wasn't straight gassed. Just got very, very hot for some reason. That's why I want to open up the exhaust, and I want to open up the transfers a little bit, just so the gas flows. Mind, when I was using this, we were probably in the high 30s in temperature. Degrees Celsius on a very hot day, and I was noodling, so, and that's quite hard on the saw. Yeah, oh well, you get that. Gives me a bit of time to play around. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, halfway through the piston. As you remember, that's standard. Focus. See the windows, and across the top here, that bridge. So I've just took a bit of metal out there and I've opened up them windows. I'll finish that one and then I'll start on the cylinder. Okay, I've started on the cylinder. To start with, I just match bored the exhaust with the gasket. There you go, looks a bit better. Should flow a bit better now. There shouldn't be any turbulence on exit. So, and I polished it up. The casting was pretty rough in there. I sort of just cleaned up. There was some really daggy pieces on the fuel side. I just sort of took all them dags off. I didn't want any of them breaking off and going through the cylinder. And I've done one side of the exhaust ports. If you can make that out, of that top edge. Yeah, a bit hard to point and hold a torch and do all that. I've just opened it up, took away a lot of those squarer edges, just for a bit of flow. I just want things to flow a bit better. That's the side, original side I haven't started. And that's the one I've done. Probably better without the torch. So I'll do the other side and we'll throw it together and have a look at what that squish is. Okay, just before we throw all this together, I've just got one of the rings and pushed him in the cylinder. As you can see, where is it? Just where my finger is. We've got a bit of a gap. Now, .45 will go in there nice and firm. And 0.4 will go in easy, so I think 0.4 is big enough. I'm not sure what it's actually supposed to be, but we got, you know, 0.4 is almost half a mil, so that should be good. Just check the other side. Just put the feeler gauges away. You see, they're a little bit different. 0.4 of a millimeters. Yeah, 0.4 is pretty firm in there, so we've got 0.4 gap. I've just put the rings in. Probably should have checked the squish and everything before I put them in, but I've done it. This was the pin, the wrist pin, or the piston pin. Bit of heat on that. It's a nice fit too. Okay, she's back together. I'm going to check the squish. About 1.5 millimeters. Just check that again. Yeah, about the 1.5 mil. That's a lot. If you remember, from the top of the wrist pin to the top of the piston, I think was about 0.4 more than the standard one. That's without the gasket. I'm going to leave the gasket out. If I add the gasket, I think I'm going to add another 0.6. So that's a lot. I'm going to leave it like that because there's nothing I can do about it anyway. So I'm going to throw this together. Just put a bit of sealant underneath there. Yeah, that's a lot of squish. Better than not enough, I suppose. But yeah, next time you see this, it'll be in this video, and we'll start her up. Hey, I'm just doing the finishing touches now, putting this together. I'm just going to put the spark plug in. It's a spark plug there, so it doesn't look like it's going to focus. Doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look like it was running lean. Probably give it less fuel if anything. Yeah, so I don't know why it did what it did. Just if anybody else has problems with these saws overheating or anything, just I'd like to know as well. I can see why people prefer the Husqvarna chassis. These things seem to be a pain. They're a lot harder to work on. Alright, we'll be back. Okay, she's all together. I'm going to put some fuel in it and see if it'll start. That's another problem I had with it as well. See, one of the bar nuts pulled the thread out. Never had that happen before. I don't tighten them up, over tighten them anyway, so. Bind. So I'm going to wind the high jet in, and I'm going to wind it out 1 1¼ to start with. The low jet, out 1 turn. Okay, we'll put some fuel in it and put it through a few heat cycles. Full choke. do about 3 heat cycles and we'll put it in some wood. Alright, thanks for watching. See yous.